Good evening everybody to MRC X-Treme. This is our final race here at Hungary at the Hungaroring, 15 miles northeast of Budapest. The first official race here was held on the 10th of August 1986. With the X-Treme, it is our no assist drivers, well, or people that want to give no assists a try. And just waiting for cars to go out on track. We have Error Voice first out to get this qualifying session underway. 18 minutes short quali, and then it'll be a 35 lap race consisting of 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right. Apologies there, just sorting the link out in the Discord. As I am on my Todd, I am lead comms BitW365, also known by my real name Carl. I'll introduce my co-commentator once he arrives, just get that one in very quickly. We will jump on board with Error Voice as he runs across the line, DRS wide open, down towards turn 1, bit of a lock up, nice and smooth on exit of turn 1, and it's downhill to a long turn 2, but then instantly turn 3 is right there for you. Cars on an outlap staying out the way of the Alpine. And then a quick fire turn 4, and then a long sweeping right hander turn 5, and then the very narrow chicanes of 6 and 7. Then we've got 8 instantly into 9. Then it's a short bend of 10, then a flattish turn 11, then a straight run down 2 turns 12. And then we go under the sponsor board for turn 13. Make sure you don't lose the back end, and then same again with turn 14. Error Voice, DRS open straight to the line, and our provisional time is a 16.4 by the Alpine driver. Got a few other cars out on a lap, so we'll find somebody who's coming towards the end. As we'll follow Colin, tier 2 driver, in the Mercedes for X-Treme, with the Max Verstappen Red Bull helmet, not the combination you really like to see. As Baby Hornet takes the McLaren on provisional pole, Colin goes along that front row, and then Ant takes that second place provisionally, and then Ben with a 14.8 to go quickest in the Williams at this point. Times flying in thick and fast at the start of this session. Good evening, Martin. All the best with your race tonight in X-Treme. In the representing the Williams again, I see. So we'll find somebody else. Actually, speaking of you, Martin, we'll follow you on your flying lap as you come in towards turn 4. As Saviour does a 14.8 to put the kick. Sauber on provisional pole position. The black and green mean machine currently on provisional pole, as Bobo in the Mercedes takes provisional pole of a 14.606. The newly promoted tier 1 driver stamping his authority in qualifying, as we're continuing to follow Mr. Hills as he enters turn 12. Brings his Williams through turn 13. And then through 14 to finish off the lap. Let's see where he'll put the Williams provisionally for the time being. P8 for Mr. Hills. Single track goes P8 provisionally with a 16.0. Vixen invalidated at the moment. Smith coming towards the end of his lap in the Ferrari. Just finished his tier 3 race not too long ago. Goes P13 on the 17.5. Nice banker for Smith in his Scarlet Ferrari. As we'll join our defending X-Treme champion, this time in the V-Carb. It is Armar, defending X-Treme champion, won the title last season, looking to try and defend it this season. The inaugural, sorry, butchered that because I can't pronounce the word very well. MRC X-Treme champion. Looks very smooth through the middle sector so far. Just stays within track limits at turn 11. Bit of a lock up through 12. But nice and tidy. Let's see how he finishes the end of the lap. Around turn 14. Just keeps it in track limits, runs to the line and goes P9 provisionally with a 16.020. As we just see Vixen coming across the line to finish his lap of a 19.1. Plenty of time, I would guess, with Vixen to come later on. One of our quickest or quicker drivers in tier 2, and the 19.1 would explain the tyres. He's on the intermediates. Getting his banker lap in on inters and getting a feel for the track. We'll jump to Baby Hornet, who's just gone through turn 1, coming down towards turn 2. Formerly part of tier 2, now part of tier 1. Driving the papaya coloured McLaren for X-Treme, as he's slightly up, but he's invalidated, so he'll look to go again. As we now find single track going down the hill towards turn 2 on his second attempt as he gets out of the way of a car just behind. That would be Error Voice. So we'll jump to him, who's looking to improve from P11, currently on a 16.4. Looking to get himself into the top 10. Qualifying is crucial here with the lack of overtaking opportunities. As we all know, Hungary is known as Monaco without the barriers. The high downforce nature of the track, and it's very single file through that middle sector of the lap. Unable to attack somebody either towards the start of the lap. You just got to sit behind somebody throughout the middle sector because it's not very easy to overtake. As Error Voice improves to P10 for a 16.2. As I can see that he's just joining the lobby. We just got to wait for him to join the party, and then I can introduce my co-commentator once he gets in. Lorpy staying out the way. We'll jump to Ben in the Williams, currently P4 on a 14.8. Locks up through into the entry of turn 2. We'll see if he's up or down as he crosses the Delta time. He's a 10th up on his previous lap time. But there's a Mercedes just ahead of him. Hopefully the Mercedes will see Ben coming and hopefully get out the way and doesn't hamper him, as it does. Hopefully the Williams wasn't unsighted much by the Mercedes, as he's half a second up through sector 2, so it obviously didn't hamper him too much through the final 2 corners for the Williams. Comes out of turn 14, DRS open, across the line and takes provisional pole with a 14.3. Quickest time of the session so far. As we'll jump to the V-carb of Jules, coming through the middle sector, through turn 11, across the Delta time, and he's 2/10 up currently on his time. Looking to improve and jump up onto that front row alongside the Williams driver. As long as he keeps it nice and tidy through the rest of this lap. Comes out the final corner and improves to P2, he does, and only a fraction off of Ben's time at the top. Jules with a 14.370 to put himself provisionally on that front row. As we'll jump to Ant, who's getting out the way of a fellow driver. Let's find somebody else. We'll find Colin coming to the end of his lap. Currently P8 on a 15.9. Improves to P7 on a 15.4. Slight improvement for the Mercedes. Now we jump to the Red Bull of Kaiser Soze, as he's 4.5 tenths up on his lap time. He's going to be loving it this season in X-Treme, being in a Red Bull. Nice and smooth as he makes his way through the middle sector of turns 8, 9 and 10 and 11. 7 tenths up as he comes into the final sector. Could be a good improvement for Soze as he enters turn 13 and then rounds turn 14 to come to the end of his lap. DRS open on the Red Bull, and it's an improvement to P10 of a 15.9. As we'll jump to Chris on his flying lap when he starts it, because he's one that we'll need to keep an eye on. Usually a fast qualifier, as we watch Smith. He's 8 tenths up as he enters the final sector as Micromash retires. I think that is currently in the pit lane. But we'll keep an eye on Smith as he comes round the final corner in the Scarlet Ferrari. DRS open. Improves to 16th with a 16.4. As we'll jump to Mr. Bailey, as he is now starting a competitive flying lap. Currently on a 15.9 down in P11. He'll look to try and get the Haas as high as he possibly can. A bit of a lock up into 2. Consistently qualifies very high up, Chris. The tier 1 driver. Looks nice and tidy as the Ferrari Smith just ahead of him. Hopefully Smith will see Chris in his mirrors and stay out the way. He does. He gets well out the way, even onto the grass. Let's see, Chris crosses the time. He's 4/10 up currently on his time. Just got the final 2 corners to go in the Ferrari powered Haas. Comes to the line and improves to P5 with a 14.9. Still got time for another lap maybe, I don't know. I'm not very good at judging times for getting out the pit lane. So we'll jump to Lorpy, who's on a flying lap on the run down to turn 2. The lead Alpine, Error Voice down in 15th at the moment, Lorpy 7th. Formerly a Tier 1 driver, now part of the Tier 2 boys, along with myself. Looks nice and tidy. The Haas staying well out the way of the Alpine. Comes through turn 11, and I can hear that my co-commentator's here, so I'll quickly introduce him. Is Tier 3's very own Lion King. It is our King of the Jungle. It is Simba, or Mark Dennison. How are you, Mark?
Not too bad. I've had better nights, but yeah, I'm here now. Sorry about that.
No worries. You're here in time for the race as Lorpy stays P7 by the looks of it, and Chris starting his flying lap. We'll jump to Saviour though, because he's someone we haven't seen yet in the Kick Sauber.
So a quick look, try and get familiar with the settings again. I haven't done this for a while.
You've got time before the race, so just
at
everyone
least
get.
I've got a million things on screen. It's not affecting the stream.
Take your time. Saviour looking very smooth through this middle sector at the moment, looking to take a step closer to the front of the grid.
It's definitely a middle sector that is very rewarding or very punishing at the same time.
Yeah, 3/10 up as he goes into entry sector 3, comes through turns 13, turn 14 left for the German. Out the final corner, DRS open, and does improve to the front row of the grid with a 14.2.
Good lap. Let's see, our resident household has finished his runs for the evening.
Yep, Chris down P5. We follow Ben, BXNNE, who's invalidated, so he's not going to get a final time in. Same with Jules, he's invalidated as well. So we'll jump to the Ferrari of Ant. See if he can get close to Saviour. Ant and Saviour shared the front row for MRCX at the start of our racing week on last Friday. So let's see if we could end up with the same front row again for X-Treme as Ant comes to the line. Only improves to P5. So Saviour will be taking pole position for MRC X-Treme at the Hungaroring. We'll run through the grid fully once everybody's finished their lap times, as B17 has gone into the pits. So that is qualifying done. Wait for the final qualifying order to come up.
I'm guessing we're just waiting for a couple of people to be pulled into their boxes.
Yeah, B17 will be the last one. Yeah, last one to be pushed into the Red Bull garage.
I know him and his teammate will be absolutely adoring the fact that they've got the Red Bulls.
Oh, I've already mentioned that Soze is going to be enjoying X-Treme this season for definite. Both of them top tier Red Bull fans. So we'll run through the order now. It's up on screen. Saviour takes pole. Ben takes second. That is your front row. Jules third. Bobo will be starting fourth. Ant fifth. Vixen sixth. Chris Bailey seventh. Lorpy eighth. Colin ninth. Soze 10th. Baby Hornet 11th. Single Track 12th. Armar 13th. Redcar 14th. Error Voice 15th. RS Dam 16th. Scottish Ninja 17th. Smith 18th. B17 in 19th. And Micromash didn't set a lap time and will be starting in P20. Now we have a 5-minute interval between qualifying and the race to allow drivers to go for a toilet break, get a quick drink, and just think about the strategy. It would be nice if anyone who is racing could tell us the weather forecast, but by the looks of it, it's going to be a bone dry race because that is a very bright sunshine.
Typical.
Different conditions from what we had in Tier 3, because I did have the stream up briefly and we did have a bit of a wet spell in Tier 3, so different conditions for this one. While we have the 5-minute break, just a few things on the track and also MRC X-Treme. The point system is... Oh, thanks, Steve. Just confirming that it is sunny for the race. So we're going to have no rain during the race, which is slightly unfortunate because it's always nice to see a bit of rain during the race. Test people's abilities. But back to the championship, the point system is unchanged from last season. The highest tier 1 driver gets maximum points, the highest placed tier 2 driver will take maximum points, and the highest placed tier 3 driver will take, I think, is it still 18 points or is it now maximum points of 25? Because last season it was 18.
I don't actually know. I would hope it has been changed to having 25 because we all know the tier 3s are gonna struggle in this tier anyway. I think to consistently finish every race is a challenge.
Well, we have 3 tier 3 drivers racing tonight who are rather comfortable with no assist. That's B17, Smith, and Scottish Ninja. All 3 are no strangers to no assist, so those 3 drivers know what they're doing, and those are the 3 for tier 3.
Well, Scottish Ninja normally runs ABS, so he's stepping up with this tier.
Oh, that's new to me. I thought he was no assists anyway, so that's new to me. So best of luck to Ninja on that one.
I think that's why he's a little bit slower than normal.
Possibly. It's all about finding a rhythm, because once you find a rhythm round here, it's pretty much it, really. Well, it's generally any track. Once you find your rhythm and your consistency, you just go into autopilot.
It's not a bad track, it's very flowy, so once you get into it, like you say, it's quite easy.
Yeah. I'd say, obviously, the most flowing part of the track is obviously that middle sector. Yes, it's a bit twisty and that, but it's very, very flowing. Good evening, Bobo. B17 enjoying himself. Steve in a Red Bull, he loves it. I don't know what those two were thinking. Oh, and Steve...
We're thinking that Kaiser Soze is the biggest Max Verstappen fan, and now he gets to drive as him.
I know. You thought it'd be throwing a party, but obviously not. But yeah, just a bit of info on the Hungaroring. The lap record round here was set by Lewis Hamilton back during the pandemic of 2020. It was a 16.9 .627 set that year. This track length is 2.722 miles. We are doing a 50% race, which is 35 laps, which is a distance of 95.265 miles. Sadly for us in Tier 2, we didn't even make that distance because of a glitch. Hopefully, and since then every other race has managed to full 50%, so hopefully good spirits for this one, and I haven't jinxed it. Most successful driver at this circuit is none other than Sir Lewis Hamilton with 8 race wins at this track, and the most successful constructor at this track is McLaren with a total of 12 wins, obviously winning this year with Oscar Piastri, adding to their record extending win rate at this circuit. And speaking of the likes of Oscar Piastri, who got first race wins here, we've had obviously Jenson Button getting his first race win here, Ocon getting his first race win here, Fernando Alonso, Damon Hill, just to name a few, as we go out on formation. So we'll get the tyres up to see what people are starting on. Everybody on medium tyres apart from Error Voice in 15th, who's deciding to start on the harder compound. So going for a different strategy to everybody else. So interesting to see how his race starts. Obviously being on the slower tyre at the start doesn't always give you the best start, and hopefully it'll come to him eventually. So Saviour leading everybody around on the formation, as Ant says hello in the YouTube as well. Good thing he gets the messages in before he starts driving, because texting and driving is a no-no, as we all know. So we'll take the tyres off. We'll go to the position change so we can see how everyone gets on the opening lap. See who gets the best starts and who ends up getting the worst starts. It'll be plenty of place changes up and down the grid, as Chris Bailey's missed his grid slot, which is rare to see. Uncharacteristic error from him, as everybody else lines up on the grid. The last one to take his grid slot will be Micromashing the Aston Martin, and now we wait for the 5 red lights to get us underway for MRC X-Treme, as we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and we're underway for X-Treme. We'll go on board with Saviour so we can get a bit of a look away. We'll go from behind. All the jostling at the back of the grid looks relatively... Oh, there's a bit of bunching and barging through turn 1. I can see everybody making places up and down the grid. Still looking a bit clustered towards the middle of the pack.
That's a bit of a bump there. Rotterdam's round.
Everyone trying to find space on the opening lap. The top 6 currently unchanged, as we enter turns 9 and 10. Through 9 into 10. Ben keeping Saviour very close on this opening lap. Biggest loser on the first lap at the moment is obviously Rotterdam, as Simba mentioned, going round, obviously having contact with somebody on the start of the lap. Biggest gainers on the opening lap is Armar Red and Scottish Ninja, both with 2 As we enter lap 2, Ben and Saviour close for company. Most of the drivers will be looking to get themselves settled in for the race, not pushing too hard at the moment, I wouldn't think. But it's very, very tight from first all the way down to P14. Everybody in a very long train at the moment. Yes, it is only the second lap. Bit of a gap.
By now, you'd have expected a breakaway by now, but it's not happening.
Well, the breakaway is happening between Red Car and Ninja, but Ninja's got back in that second and just dropped back out again.
The biggest breakaway is Rotterdam at the back, who obviously had a bit of an issue.
Yeah, nothing that he could have done, because you said there was contact and which put him round, but he is slowly crawling back to B17. That gap coming down ever so little by little as Micromash making moves, as he's up to 14th in the Aston Martin from starting P20. One of our quick drivers in X-Treme and also Tier 1, so expect to see him coming through the pack. His next target is Error Voice in P16, who's not the easiest of drivers to overtake, I must say. But there's a few gaps opening up now, because Red Car Rambo has dropped off from single track. The gap's opened up to 1.2. So Red Car dropped off that long train at the start of Saviour downwards. Few gaps starting to form now. We'll jump to the front with Ben and Saviour. Williams versus Sauber with a V-carb slightly behind that. As we'll see if the Williams can overtake the Sauber on the run down to turn 1. DRS open and sets fastest lap as well. Not close enough to do anything, sits behind the Sauber. DRS open again in the second DRS zone before turn 2, but it's not long enough to make anything with it. So Ben will now have to sit behind Saviour through the middle sector and hopefully set the move up down towards turn 1, as I think that's Scottish Ninja round at
Ninja's
turn
in
2.
A wall, yeah. I think Micromash went around the outside and there was a little bit of contact. I think Ninja locked up slightly. So he's lost an end plate for his troubles.
That's going to hamper him, so that'll be a journey to the pit lane for Ninja in the McLaren.
There were some angry Scottish words inside that helmet right now.
Oh, I'm sure about it.
Not sure I'd want to repeat on stream what's going on in that helmet.
No, I mean we know what the Scottish are like when they get angry, because of that famous clip of our very own Gav.
Oh yes, and that was funnily enough at this track.
Yes, it was in. I think it was it dry or damp conditions at that time?
It was quite wet.
Yeah, because it was on the through turn 3, wasn't it?
1, 2. Yeah, just going up to turn 4.
Yeah, which is where we are now. There's seems to be a breakaway the top 6 now. 1.7 between Vixen and Colin, who's got Lorpy all over the back of the Mercedes at the moment. No chance of overtaking at this moment, as Ninja is in the pits for the repairs, making his way out. As Lorpy goes very wide out of turn 10, rejoins safely and stays just ahead of the Haas of Chris Bailey. We'll jump to the front two again, as will Ben be able to make anything on Saviour going towards turn 1. DRS open. Saviour goes defensive, but it tries to hold it on the inside, forcing Ben around the outside, but the traction and the DRS and the Williams is through. Ben takes the lead from Saviour on lap 6 with a nice move around the outside. Saviour made him work for that. Kept it on the inside, forced Ben around the outside. Ben was able to get a bit more better traction on the outside and made the move stick. Colin, 3 seconds for track limits, as we have a couple battles and trains forming now. There's definitely gaps starting to open now as people are finding their rhythms. So we'll jump to the Colin train, which consists obviously of Colin, Lorpy, Chris. As speaking of Lorpy, has just made a move and there's a bit of contact. Chris just tapping the back of Colin, but Lorpy, I guess, made the move at turn 11, getting past the Mercedes. But now we'll have Colin under attack as Saviour has retaken the lead again. So the front two back to how they were. Bit of a lock up by Saviour into turn 2, as we have single track pitting. Wonder if he's had damage or anything from that lap, as Chris is tumbling
in a wall.
Yeah, Chris is a safety car.
Kayser's just had a bit of a moment as well, coming out of turn 3.
I wonder what happened to Chris.
I think he just lost traction on the exit of 2.
Possibly.
I didn't see any contact. I was watching the battle between him and Kayser. I mean, I could have blinked and missed it, but I didn't see anything.
Yeah, we just jumped to Chris. He's missing a front wing, so he's going to be not a happy chap.
I don't think he's happy with the handling of his car either.
Well, without giving too much away, because I'm in a party with him during race days, I think he mentioned that he's trying a completely different setup to what he was running on Monday. As it looks like everyone is deciding to take the hard tyres. Red car stays out.
I wonder if that's a bit of track position and a bit of not hampering his teammate.
Possibly. So red car stays out, and so does Error Voice. Error Voice on the hard tyres. So safety car picks up red car. It's been a while since I've seen that name at the front of the pack, but it's nice to see it at that end of the field. Still a long way to go though.
Unfortunately, he's going to have a very big target on his back when they go racing again.
Oh, definitely. Those that have gone onto the hard tyre, we'll see what people have swapped to. We'll get the tyres up just to have a quick look. So everyone that was on mediums is now on hards, apart from Smith, who has gone for the soft tyre. So looking to possibly gain a few places before having to pit again, because those softs do not last long round here.
No, they never really have they?
And I'm surprised. I can understand him staying out because obviously not wanting to hamper his teammate, but you would think Barber would have pitted red car, because those medium tyres tend to drop off around lap 10. Yes, we're behind the safety car at the moment, but it's not going to be much longer before those tyres will start dropping off. as everyone has joined the safety car train, just waiting for Scottish Ninja to make his way round to catch up to the back of the pack. So just a few things, let's have a look at the YouTube chat. Bergen says lone comms. No, Simba's here now. He was here just before the end of qualifying. He's here for the race now, so I'm not on my own anymore. Nice to have somebody in, a fellow commentator in here, because it does get a bit lonely, especially when you're on your own. Martin giving us a bit of an update. My game glitched like mad. Some cars are leaping all over the track, tyres smoke, not disappearing, etc, etc. So single track not having the best of races at this time, with a few glitchy moments during the race. Hopefully it settles down for him and he can get his head down after this restart.
Let's hope we'll go racing again this lap.
Yeah, it looks like it should be in this lap, because Ninja is back in that train. As yep, there's the message to say that the safety car is in. So red car will now take the pace and become the de facto safety car. It's his decision when everybody goes. Safety car not made it into the pits yet. See where red car decides to go. He has gone just before turn 14. Nice tidy restart. Error voice under pressure from Saviour just behind. Fresh hards versus slightly used hards. Saviour on the inside of turn 1. Has he made the move? Can't tell from this angle. Yes, he has. Saviour up to P2. His next target will be red car. As Scottish Ninja's round at turn 1. As we can see on the left hand side, single track and Chris having a ding dong as a battle at the moment. The Haas looking to get past the Williams. Bit of a contact there between the two. But Chris looking left and right, but the only thing he can do is just sit behind the Williams through this part of the track. But he's really hounding the back of single track's Williams. Back end steps out a little bit out of turn 11 for single track. DRS will be activated at the start of the next lap, because it's only one lap instead of two that we have to wait. There it is, DRS enabled. Chris almost pushing single track through the final corner. Still unable to get past the Williams. Looks to the outside. As, ooh, I don't know if single track had lack of turning there, because or broke a bit too late, but Chris made the move.
You know, there's some not very pretty looking handling going on tonight.
No, some people seem to be struggling, some don't, as Saviour's back where he was, back in the lead. As Error Voice has now dropped down to P6 since the restart, so Saviour in a good position, because he's been able to gap red car, who has got Ben stuck behind him. It's only a matter of time, as it looks like Bobo having a look on the inside of Jules into turn 12 makes it stick. So that's Bobo in the Mercedes up to P4, just behind this battle. And you'd think that Ben in the Williams will line red car up. Yes, he does. DRS wide open, pulls to the left hand side, makes the move before turn 1. You'd think red car would be pitting sometime soon, because those mediums really will be asking a lot of at this moment, because he's got Bobo all over him now. But now that Ben's got past red car, he is now released to... Oh, we've got 2 cars round on as we have virtual safety cars. We've got a Sauber and a McLaren stationary between turn 1 and 2, so possible contact between RS Dam and Scottish Ninja. But we do have a virtual, so just got a lap to a Delta. Virtual just...
you do, because that Delta will catch you out with no warning at all.
Oh, Bergen's just put a bit of information in the YouTube chat. Barber's on 25% tyre life, so 12 laps in and only 25% tyre life. He's not doing too bad on those mediums.
He's whispering at him as per usual.
That's one thing that Red Car has got in his back pocket. He's very good with his tyre management compared to a lot of people. I mean, there is a lot of people that are very good on their tyres, and Red Car just happens to be one that I know on a regular basis that's very good on his tyres. As we are green flag racing again, Jules having a look at Bobo as we go green flag. He's on the inside for turn 4. Not quite alongside to take it. Backs out before. Sorry, that was turn 3 that went through. But Saviour leads by 2.8 seconds, whilst Red Car keeps everyone else in his own little train. Or should I say big train, because the train goes from Red Car himself all the way down to B17. Well, Smith and B17 just dropping off now, but they're staying within it. Red Car just keeping it in limits through 11. We'll stay with Colin, who's near enough pushing the Haas round turn 12. Plenty of locking up as well by a few drivers. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Red Car. Held it. As we have DRS already, because obviously it was a virtual, as Colin makes his way past, and so does Jules as well. Red Car just losing 2 places due to not having DRS. Next car to get hampered behind the Haas. There's Scottish Ninja's DNF'd, and we have a full safety car. Ninja has gone at turn 9. On lap 14.
He's not going to be happy, Bunny.
No. So that brings everyone back together again, even though most drivers hadn't broken away. You would think Red Car would take full advantage of this safety car to pit. Yes, he'll drop down the order to the behind B17. Or around the back end of the field, as RS Dam is pitted. Must be for repairs for the Sauber. So Saviour will take the lead of this restart once the safety car picks him up, as Red Car does come into the pits to get off those medium tyres, and so Error Voice as well coming into the pits off the hard tyres. So we'll just have a look to see what those guys do for tyres. Red Car goes on to the hard tyre. Error Voice changes to the medium. Single track onto a fresh set of mediums. Smith, fresh set of hards. And it looks like Colin has gone for a used set of mediums and has left the session. So Colin is disconnected from the session after going on to a set of used mediums.
That seems unlucky, or has left in a bit of a huff. I'm sure time will tell.
Yep. Hopefully he joins back in. But looking by it, RS Dam, who's just pitted again, has gone back onto a used set of hard tyres. 5 laps on those tyres, so plenty of life still in them. Let's have a look at the position changes while we're behind the safety car. Micromash is currently 12 places up from his starting position after qualifying P20 at the back of the grid, so he's made plenty of progress throughout this race. Biggest loser at this moment in time is Colin in 16th. He's down 7 places from his starting position. Single track down 6. He's another loser at this moment in time. Hopefully he can make his way back up the order. A few more position changes. Armar Red up 3. Chris is down 4. As it looks like Colin's back in the pits again. So get a quick look at penalties. The only drivers with penalties at this moment is Smith, Colin and RS Dam. They're the only 3 drivers at this moment with penalties. All 3 falling foul of track limits, getting 3 warnings, which gives you 3 seconds added on to your finishing time. Let's have a quick look of how many stops most have done. Everyone mostly doing the 1 stop. A couple of them pitting again for either damage. So you got Smith and Single Track with 2 stops apiece, and then the last 2 runners at the moment, Colin and RS Dam, on 3 pit stops. So those drivers having to go in for repairs. Chris obviously getting a new front wing early in the race, but the safety as we wait for the safety car restart. Just waiting for the message, as there's plenty of smoke from tyres locking up. But the Aston Martin makes its way round to the pit entry, and Xavier will take the role of de facto safety car, so he now controls the pace and will decide when to get this race back underway. Red car just went before turn 14. I wonder where Xavier is. Xavier gets a bit of a twitch on trying to get the power down, which has caught him under a bit of pressure from Ben behind, as we are racing again on lap 17 of 35. Ben will want to attack Xavier the best he can. DRS will be activated on lap 18, so next lap, as a couple cars towards the back of the grid already making position changes, but we'll focus on the front guys at this moment in time, as they have broken away. The top 4 broke away from Ant off that restart. Xavier got a bit of a twitch trying to get the power down, as Red car has now been caught out with track limits and now finds himself with 3 seconds. Lovely helicopter views as we're making his way towards turn 11. Bit of a lock up for Xavier. Let's have a little view from behind the Salbot at the Williams and the rest of them, as Ant's caught up to this train now. As we'll look back from Xavier. DRS activated, but we will not get it for this lap though, as there's a Ben getting a bit closer towards turn 1, but not close enough to make a move on the Sauber. So he'll be looking to have a go next lap when he gets DRS. Bobo sitting tidy just behind. Hopefully just playing the patient game. See if the cars in front make any mistakes, as Baby Hornet now finds himself with 3 seconds to his name. And it looks like Armar's gone down 2 places, so we'll just see how he's doing in the V car. It looked like Baby Hornet getting out of shapes through those couple corners there, but no harm done. But it's very close with this pack of cars. Just behind Chris in the Haas. Everyone in that DRS train, not much you can do if you're in it, as it looks like Baby Hornet having a bit of a look. I've gone the wrong way through the order, apologies. Trying to go around the outside of turn 2 is Baby Hornet in the McLaren. Chris leaves in space and Baby Hornet makes the move past the Haas of Chris Bailey for P10. Soze onwards has dropped off the top 8 by almost 4 seconds, so we've got a few battles going on. Jump to the front guys again to see if Ben can make any headway on Saviour. He'll get DRS down towards turn 1. Doesn't look close enough to the Sauber, as Micromash sets the fastest lap of a 17.4. Having a very nice controlled race, as we have a yellow flag, but it's soon cleared up as Ben, under a little bit of pressure from Bobo, gets very close through turn 2. But again, everyone following, because that's all they can do. Lap 20 of 35. Still a ways to go for everyone in this race. And as we know, anything can happen when in racing. Lorpy just dropping off this gaggle of cars now. But we'll stick with the front 7 drivers as we still following Ben. Still not close enough to do anything to Saviour. So Saviour managing the pace well, as Bobo gets right up the diffuser of Ben through turn 1, but not able to make any headway. Mercedes getting very close to the Williams through corner entries. I think Bobo having the confidence to brake a little bit later than Ben just ahead. We'll jump to the Soze train. See how everyone's getting on in that group. Chris got Baby Hornet very close to the back of his Haas. dear, Chris has lost it, which has dropped him down the order. The back end came out on the exit of turn 13, which has dropped him down to 15th, which has gave Soze a bit of breathing space. There's Armar almost making contact with the back of Baby Hornet's McLaren. As Baby Hornet has picked up another 3 seconds, which will hurt him towards the end because it'll be added to his finishing time. But now Soze will have to deal with the McLaren of Baby Hornet, as he's also lost it and most likely took damage to the front wing, as well as Soze has now picked up 3 seconds. So that's 2 drivers behind Soze have made mistakes, so that's given him a little breathing space again. So another breather for Soze as he holds on to P9, as big lock up for the Red Bull into turn 1. Kept the car pointing in the right direction as Baby Hornet 10 seconds, didn't slow down enough for the pit lane limit line.
Well, that wasn't a clever move, was it, from Simon?
Nah, he lost the car in the dirty air behind Soze, a bit like Chris did earlier, a couple laps before, and unable to get the car stopped before the pit lane limit line, and has now found himself with an extra 10 seconds, which he'll either have to carry on to the end of this race, or if he needs to pit again, he will have to be stationary for 10 seconds, which is a lifetime. But Soze still holding on firm to P9 as he's now being under pressure from Armar, who's having a little look, letting the Red Bull know that he's there. And if Armar will make a move down towards turn 1 with the arrest. Soze going very defensive early, and Armar makes the move. Soze darts straight back into the slipstream of the V-carb as Armar takes the position from Soze. V-carb up to P9, the Red Bull down to P10. And speaking of a Red Bull, we have a possible Red Bull battle with B17 now on the back of Soze. Let's jump back.
If Soze will let him through if his teammate's quicker, and obviously he's got a penalty, it might be worth letting him go.
It would be interesting. I mean, as we know with X-Treme, we do race in teams, but there is no teams championship. There's only the drivers championship up for grabs, which, as we know, the top 3 drivers from their representative tiers gets top points. So at this moment in time, Saviour, obviously leading overall, is the tier 1 race leader. And then you got down to P7 where we have Vixen, who is leading the tier 2 group. And then we drop to Smith, who is leading the tier 3 drivers. So they're your 3 tier leaders at this moment. As we just jumped as B17 is in the wall on the halfway round down the run to turn 2. He's got no front wing, so that'll be a trip to the pit lane for the Red Bull, and it is lap 25 and we have a safety car. What will people decide to do? Those that went from medium to hards earlier on do have an extra set of mediums if they need it, if they haven't used them. But I think most people will tend to go for track position because the lack of overtaking opportunities. Let's see what they decide to do. Saviour decides to go in and Ben will follow. I think everybody else is going to follow suit as well, as Ant actually doing different. Ant stays out. So Ant will take the lead with the cars in front of him pitting. Ant taking track position. Get the tyres up to see what everyone decides to do. Saviour's gone for the fresh mediums. Ben, Bobo, Jules, Micro and Vixen have all gone for the fresh medium tyres, as everybody else is in the pits as well. So everybody looking for the fresh medium tyres. As we can see, all the tyre changes happening on the left hand side of the screen. So a lot of people taking the new fresh medium tyres under this safety car, and deciding to stay out on his 18 lap hards. And then you got Red Car in P5 stayed out on his 11 lap old hard tyres.
Clearly want to whisper them to the end then. I mean, we know Red Car's a big tyre whisperer.
Yeah. Both drivers deciding to go for track position over fresher tyres. We'll see what the restart's like, with Saviour on fresh medium tyres and Ant on used hard tyres.
That's an interesting strategy play for Man. I know he's good on tyres and he is quick, but 18 lap hards versus fresh mediums, it sounds like suicide to me.
It does, but I think the way Ant's probably looking at it is, if he can hold on, then possibly the race will probably come back to him, because as we know, the mediums, depending on how you use them, can drop off within 10 laps.
There's less than 10 laps left.
So he's probably thought of going for track position then. As we've got a couple more pitters going back in. Chris, Single Track and Baby Hornet. Three drivers who tend to be near the top half of the field, having a bit of a troublesome day. So we've got a few drivers catching up to the safety car train. That's Chris and Single Track just getting to the pack. The only two drivers left to catch up to the train is Baby Hornet's McLaren and Collins Mercedes. And then we can possibly look at going green flag racing again. So my guess is safety car will be in probably lap 29. Start of lap 29, I'm gonna guess that the safety car will be going in. So we'll have just a little rundown of the order at the moment. Now Ant, being the lead tier 1 driver, Red Car finds himself the lead tier 2 driver, and it is Smith leading tier 3, because I was wrong earlier. It was B17 who was leading the tier 3 group, but now it's Smith. As we have a few, as Chris is back in the pits again. Something not happy with Chris tonight. That's looking crystal clear.
For the most pit stops.
He must be. He's not happy with something. Have a look to see what he's doing. Oh, He's took a tip out of single track and baby Hornets, but he's gone to these soft tyres. So those three looking at trying to carve their way through the pack with very little laps left. I mean, the soft tyres will make the end definitely, because we're on lap 28. But the question is, how quickly will they drop off? But single track baby Hornet and Chris deciding to take the soft tyres for this restart. Just got to wait for Chris to catch up to the back of Colin and join the back of the train, and then we should soon get a message to say that we'll be going green flag again. Just gotta wait for the message to pop up if it happens. There it is. So safety car will go on its way, and then Ant will take control of this restart. He's going to have to be so perfect with his restart, with having Saviour behind on fresher medium tyres. And it looks like Ant has gone before turn 13 and has got a little bit of a gap to Saviour off this restart, which is what he needed. And with a very nicely controlled restart, got a bit of a jump, but the grip that Saviour had through those corners was able to crawl it back up. Saviour already on the attack into turn 1, both drivers locking up. Saviour keeping it as tight as possible and giving it a bit of a twitch on exit, but Saviour is through. And it looks like Ben's going to have a look round the outside of turn 2 as well, which will then come the inside for turn 3, and that is the Williams up into P2, the Ferrari down to P3. Ant getting swamped at the moment as Bobo has made a move as well just before turn 4, so that's Ant down to P4. The medium tyres really showing benefit, those top three just getting past Ant with very little problems at all. So we'll jump to Ben, who is going to be looking to hound the back of Saviour in these closing laps. If he's going to make a move for the lead, he's going to have to do it soon, because the sooner he takes it, the sooner he can control the pace.
I don't think there's going to be any control in pace as such. I think it's just going to be rapid till the end.
True. As we have DRS will be enabled this lap. Loads of drivers setting quick times in with the fresh medium tyres. There's the message just popped up. DRS is now enabled, so DRS will be used at the end of this lap. Detection point on the entry of turn 14, which then gives you activation for the run down to turn 1 and then the run down to turn 2. Ben's just got to keep himself nice and close to the back of the Sauber. And Saviour would have been used to the view of the Williams in his mirrors. And I'm sure Ben will be able to draw us a very detailed illustration of the back of the Sauber with how long he spent behind it. And dropping off from these three, he's got to just hold on the best he can. He's got Jules right behind him on medium tyres, so we'll see if Jules can make any headway. Saviour sets the fastest lap of a 16.7 as Jules already goes past Ant for P4, so Ant has fallen down now to P5. And also Vixen, there's a load of places as Red Car is getting swamped as well on the entry to turn 1. Vixen, Lorpy have now moved up to 7th and 8th respectively, as we have a yellow flag at turn 1, which is soon cleared
the
up.
B17 had a moment.
Possibly.
B17 and Chris look like they've just had a little bump together.
It's all getting bumpy, bargy in the middle of the track, everyone trying to make headway. Quicker drivers around slower drivers, and also the likes of Red Car and Ant having to survive on their used hard tyres, trying to get to the end without losing too many places. Despite being 5th place now, Ant's still keeping a nice tabs on Jules. Just stays within a second at the detection point, so he will have DRS from the V-Carb, but he's got the 2 Aston Martins hunting him down as Vixen sets a 16.3 to set the fastest lap. As Micromash is very, very close to Ant now, so that'll be a battle.
Chris is in the pits again.
Error Voice has gone in the pits.
Yep, Error Voice has gone. Chris has pitted yet again. Looks like another front wing.
A day to forget for Chris, from what Simba's saying. As Soze is up to P10. Past Red Car as we're Ant getting very aggressive on the curves through the chicane, bouncing over the turn 7 curb, which will unsettle his car a little bit as he's under massive pressure from the Aston Martin of Micromash. Micromash having an absolute brilliant drive after starting P20th, finds himself P6 and possibly with a chance to take P5 as he looks to line up the Ferrari, who was just outside of DRS, so Micromash will see that and defending as hard as he can, and goes a bit deep. Micromash kept to the inside nice and tight, makes the move, so that's Micromash up to P5. A stellar drive by Micromash and the Aston Martin. So we'll jump to the front 3, which is still Saviour, Ben and Bobo, which it has been for the last couple laps. We could end up seeing this going down to the last lap. These 3 really pushing each other hard in these closing stages. Saviour no stranger to leading. We'll see what Ben and Bobo can do as they enter turn 14 to start the penultimate lap, 34 of 35. RS down 3 seconds. As that almost got a bit close for comfort. Saviour keeping it tight on the inside, was able to hold the position. So Ben will have to look to go at it on the last lap. Bobo very close as well. All it'll take is one mistake from these 3 drivers and either one of them can win it. As Ben getting side by side, trying to go around the outside of turn 5. Still side by side as gets a bit tight in towards the chicane. Saviour holds on. It's getting very racy with these 3 drivers in these closing stages. No one wanting to give an inch or a quarter. As we come into the closing stages of lap 34, as we're not far from starting the final lap. Saviour comes through turn 14 with Ben and Bobo in very close proximity as we enter the final lap. 35 of 35. Ben too far back to do anything. So he's got his only chance is probably on the run down to turn 2. DRS open on both Williams and Mercedes. But Saviour doing enough. And he's still leading through turn 2. So all Saviour has to do now is hold on through the rest of this lap, because it's not very easy to overtake All he's got to do is just hold on for the rest of this lap. As we have a yellow flag, that is RS Dam and B17 at turn 1. But this battle for the top 3 is still going to go on until the very end of this lap. Everyone's keeping it nice and tidy in track limits. Ben having a little look, but not much you can do. Trying to force Saviour into a mistake. He's looking round the outside of turn 12, 13. But Saviour's held on. He's going to come round turn 14. And he's going to take the first win of X-Treme. Saviour wins, Ben second, Bobo third, Micromash fourth, Jules fifth. And will hold on to P6 with Vixen in 7th. Lorpy will cross the line 8th. Armar crosses the line 9th. Soze rounds off at the top 10. And then it will be single track, Smith, Baby Hornet. And then B17 will come across the line. P14 in the Red Bull. Rotterdam not too far behind in 15th. Then it'll be Chris coming across the line in 16th. But gets the position due to Rotterdam's penalty. Now we just wait for red car to come round turn 14 and finishes 17th. And then Colin finished in 18th. Very close amongst the top 3. Micromash driver of the day by the game. I am not going to argue that after starting at the back. We'll hopefully see the podium trio. There they are. Saviour comes out with Ben and Bobo to take the first podium of X-Treme. We'll run through the order and I'll also run down the winners of each tier. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. So we know who gets maximum points for each tier provisionally. Because obviously we do have stewards' inquiries to come if needed. But here is your provisional finishing order for MRC X-Treme round 1. Saviour wins with Ben in 2nd, Bobo 3rd, Micromash 4th, Jules 5th and 6th, Vixen 7th and 1st for Tier 2, Lorpy 8th and 2nd for Tier 2, Armar 9th and 3rd for Tier 2, Soze 10th, Single Track 11th, Smith 1st for Tier 3 and in 12th, Baby Hornet 13th, B17 14th and 2nd for Tier 3. Then it's Chris, RS Dam 16th and 3rd for Tier 3. Then it's Red Car 17th, Colin, and the final finisher in 18th. And then it was Error Voice, and I missed the last car, but that was the first round for MRC X-Treme. The game, as you saw, gave the driver of the day to Micromash. I'm not going to argue with that one, but would you agree on that one, Mark?
Yeah, that was a very good drive, especially from the back of the grid. I kind of give a mention to Ant as well for pushing them hard as long as he did. We both said he was doomed, and he still got P6. Yeah,
he managed to hold on to stay within the top runners the best he could. But I'd say we're both going to go for Micromash after finishing P5 from 20th. So that is Hungary done and dusted. Every tier race done at Hungary. We now look forward to Spa in Belgium. First race at Spa will be X on Friday at 7:30, and then we'll have the designated tier races, Tier 2 and 1 on Monday, and Tier 3 and X-Treme back again next Wednesday. So that is it from myself and Simba. Any last words before we finish, Simba, before we get off?
No, I think we're about covered. Obviously, people don't forget to join Friday night, and we'll see you then. Good night from me.
And it's good night from me.